Hello, Randomania, and welcome to a Week 4 matchup in our 2020 Spring Tournament.
And welcome to
It is Weirdo
a
Clock,
Week
and
4
this
matchup
is MG
in our
Weirdo,
2020
and the
Spring
Moon here with
Tournament.
Mages.
Welcome to it is
How are you
Weirdo
doing tonight,
Clock and
Mages?
I know Sho's been around for ages. Zen, I've caught some of his matches earlier, but it's going to be a good one. I guarantee that. It's going to be a good one between these two.
Okay. And I have let them know they're getting started, so they are in the countdown with FFR Bot. We do have a little bit different parties, so obviously it wasn't a draft. ShoFukomachi going with Fighter Rainbow, Zen0bian going Fighter Thief Red Red. So where those magic permissions end up will make a big difference in this race.
I'm surprised neither of them actually decided to take a black belt. I mean, this is like the 1 week where you could theoretically go with that one. Ooh, heal 3 in the white magic, which is slot 1, so I think they all can learn it. Warp, Saber, Quad X, and Stun. Now, the Saber is going to be huge for Zen because of, well, he's got red mages, they can attack, and Saber's a good catch-all.
Well, it can only be cast on yourself, but I'm thinking maybe that makes the Thief viable as your endgame damage dealer. Of course, depending on what weapons you get.
Oh, very true.
Now this is interesting. They've both decided to take an imp fight early, and they're looking for a little bit of experience, hit level 2, they're looking for a little bit of cash. They also, neither of them have picked up and checked out the item shop that I saw. And Zen0bian going straight over to Provoka, hoping for some better level 2 magic. I'm not sure I agree with this play. Well, in a trance shark says, why don't you stay and dance for a bit?
I mean, I don't fault them for the play. It's one of those plays that, you know, with just Quad X, I mean, you're gonna want a thing to clear out the board, you know, with all the enemies, so I can't fault them for checking there. And also getting the free item from Binky and then, you know, going back. It's not that bad play, considering they've got a red mage as, you know, red mage as well, and Cure Fog 2, and I couldn't get all the rest. Let's see, Lit 2, Fire 3, Lock 2, and Ice 3. I think we know what people are going to be choosing there.
Yeah, Ice 3 especially because it's a bit cheaper. That is picking up that sleeper. So now that Zen's going to stay at the end, get those charges and move on. The reason I was sort of against it is that normally when I see someone go to Provoka early, I see them go to the King and to find out whatever key item the King has. And then ShoFukomachi also showing that, where he takes down Garland with that Quad X, which is guaranteed to take care of business.
Keeping the Ruby. Access to Sky, partially, and access to Titan's Trove and Zarya. And on Zen's side, ooh, I guess they're rewarded for the play?
And here's that item shop with the loot. So that's endgame required, but not required, you know, just yet. Houses are moderately priced, but no tents or cabins, so no cheap save items. And then Bicky doesn't have a boat today. He has a small boat, but that's going to be good enough to get you going and get you opened up into Volcano, Ice, and Crescent Lake if you want to go there.
So basically, Zen getting rewarded big time for the dip to, you know, Provoka early.
Well, I don't know if it's a huge reward, but it's certainly it's not something anybody's likely to miss. But certainly picking up that Ice 3, if there's a reward, I'd say that's probably the reward you got out of it.
Very, very true. I mean, I could see that being, you know, really good there. I mean, not only that, but it also saves some great time on the overworld. And if you really want to take a grind or two from the river tiles, you can grab, you know, something there. finally picking up their Hero 3, and ooh, I missed Expert during the early part. That's a great spell for getting rid of magic defenses and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't see it used that much during this tournament, but it certainly it has its uses. It can be useful. Sho has made it up to Grandma Matoya and has rated her life savings. That 10,000 gold is going to come in really, really big as we head down through, and as we think about level 2 and mostly level 3 spells. Having that 10k cash will make a big difference.
Very true. Very, very true. And you'll probably see them. Well, most likely Zen will use this as a free warp. And ooh, that is actually very good routing too. Going to provoke sailing back, getting the free warp back to the boat, and then going down to Elfland. Not that bad. I mean, it is. I'd have to time it out, but I think that might actually be faster for the movement.
Well, either way, we have the runners crossing their paths. And question in chat from the Space Drake, did Sho make an early provoke play? It's actually the exact opposite, where Zen0bian actually made not just an early provoke play, but made it super early, didn't even check the king before he went over there, where Sho went up, cleared Temple of Fiends, and now is then went to Matoya and is now at Provoca. So,
and Quadex and Garland picking up their cube, and their it was Ruby. But no, if that actual canoe, that sets up a lot of things. I'm assuming. I mean, what would you think? Elfland, then Crescent, then either Ice Cave or Volcano?
Elfland definitely, but we're thinking about whether we're going to get Canal or whether we're going to get Floater. One of those two is going to open up this world for us. So I'd probably, I'd hit up Elfland for spells, and then I head east. But you're also thinking about, okay, I'm only level 2 or level 4. How do I get those spell charges so I can survive?
I mean, we don't have any true... Well, I guess all the level 2 spells are good at clearing out things, but no real level 1 nuke or something like that. But Peninsula Power, it's an option if you really want to do that. But we'll probably see Elfland, and I'm betting Crescent. Maybe if either of them really want to play it, loose, Ice Cave.
Yeah, Ice Cave is certainly possible. Marsh is certainly possible. I mean, we have that level 1 warp. I mean, as bad as we say the magic was at level 1, because it didn't have a sweeper, we've got Ice 3, the only spell that can do more damage than nuke. So I'd say that we have a good set of tools here. It's just a question of what's the right place to use it.
Let's see, level 3, Sleep 2, I saw regular ice, and I missed the last 2. And in the white magic...
Hold was the third one.
Oh, level 3 Fade, level 3 Life 2, and Mute.
And even better, Life 2 and Fade are white locked, meaning that fighter, when he promotes to a knight, isn't going to get it, and those 2 red mages for Zen0bian aren't going to get it. So, that is a big advantage in Sho's favor, I think, just having that available.
Oh, level 4 Nuke and Fire 2, and Sleep, and Confuse. But level 4 Nuke, now that is pretty nice.
Yeah, level 4 Nuke, and Cheeseinator pointing out that the red mages do get life 1, so reds are perfectly fine, but and that fighter will also be able to cast life eventually. So those are big. While those are big pickups, it's still, to me, it's still like there's enough of an advantage to make that white mage still viable.
I mean, the drawback is that it's on the same level as Fade, so you're going to have to pick your do I need to deal damage or do I need to heal option, which sometimes can be a really big problem later in the game.
Yeah, well, the red mage or the knight can cast the life spells, and if that white mage is doing damage, that's already a big bonus.
I mean, I'm a fan of actually grabbing Fade on the Knight just in case the enemy has a lot of Absorb, and you need to deal damage quickly.
Well, he won't be able to use it because of the slot. That's permissions. So we're doing a little bit of taking a couple of fights, and then Zen0bian has made it over to the water system, the river system, and headed, and we'll see if we're gonna get to stopping in Crescent Lake first, or we're gonna head to Ice Cave or Volcano.
Did either of them pick up a house? I know they were expensive as anything, though I've seen even more expensive, but looks like Zen's going towards Crescent, I think.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see either of them pick it up individually. They certainly have the money to at this point. It was just a matter of what was available. And here Sho is picking up cabins. Cabins weren't terribly expensive.
And
yeah.
Looks like I'm wrong. Zen did pick up some houses.
Yeah, once we got those first 2 boxes that were one from Mitoya and one in Temple of Fiends that were 10k each, that put houses in range. So they're not horribly expensive, but they're not tremendously cheap either. And Zen0bian hits Crescent Lake first, so I think Zen0bian actually skipped the item shop in Canaria, so he's going to be checking item shops for quite some time, not knowing that our loot was in Canaria, so right where we started. Then we have level 6, we have Invis 2, we have Wall. Min the Mage says he didn't skip that. Then it makes looking for the... I'm just wondering why he was looking in that item shop, what he was looking for. Yeah, I thought he would have had them from Elfland, but either way, he got the Oxyel from the Sages, and then is out and takes out Pede, so if he's got this and he's found this encounter, he might do a little grind here and pick up some levels and some spell charges, and that's what we're seeing. So, Mage, what level do you think you should take this grind up to? When do you stop? How far do you go? Okay, I will give my Kokam just a minute, and we'll keep going here. So Zen0bian is going to keep grinding on these Pedes while Sho is making his way over. And both these runners in this spring tournament, this is our week 4, so incentive locations are going to include Ice Cave, are going to include, we have our Loose Canal, that, as well as 2 other items that we're looking for. We have 3 non-critical incentive items. We have the Power Gauntlet, we have the Opal Bracelet, and we have the Thor Hammer. So they can Ice Cave that we can get to now is the only incentive location that I can think of that we can actually get to that isn't a fetch quest.
If you want to go for chest density, Volcanoes you play. If you want to go for the item, I'd say go Ice Cave.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, and noting on level 6, saw the last half of that magic this time. Fast and Temper. Not only are they high level, but they are the same level. So that's not great. Although it's great that they're a level that we're likely to have charges up.
In this case, it looks like you're probably going to have to split the Red Mage's duty, where one will be casting Fast and the other will be casting Temper during each battle, which isn't bad. I mean, it just means you can't stack double Temper well, you can stack double temper, but you know, you really can't use the. Sorry, losing the train of thought.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, we've got time to recover here. We're sitting here. Zen0bian is grinding Pete, putting that level 1 quad X to good work. And then Sho, I thought he was headed for the river for a second, but he's found a troll fight and is going to take on these trolls for a minute. So, and I see in chat Cheesinator laying some knowledge down on us. Better than 50% chance for Canal to be in Volcano, if that's the progression, but only about a 20% for Floater and Ice. It's not, there's no guarantee one way or the other, but you've got some good spells if you can level your way into it. Looks like we've got chain, we've got some silver armor to go with it. While it looks like ShoFukomachi is making his way up, we'll see what he gets to. He is headed toward Ice, so he's going to go for Ice Cave with the guaranteed incentive location over the relatively easy chest checks and trap tile checks. Yeah, and at this point, they're both great locations to check. You don't know what's in there, and equipment would certainly be useful. Levels are useful, and of course, incentive items are useful too. So we'll have to see what we can get. So, Mage, we have a question from chat. DM Stewart 1981 asked, "Do the runners have warp?" You want to handle that?
Sure thing. Both runners do have warp. Sorry, was answering a call real quick. Anyway, but yes, both runners do have warp level 1, if I recall. Ooh, an heal helmet.
Yeah, pretty good armor and some item magic, so if you need to heal up in battle, you can. We've got a pro cape, so both runners taking different choices, doing different things, so we'll see which of these plays pays off better. And honestly, I don't know that there is not a clear winner here. Oh, did I see that right? Was that the mummy that has damage poison? Oh man, does that make Ice Cave nasty?
And to answer the question in chat about meteor, I think we all wish we had that in this game.
Yeah, but then we'd have to have jobs, and then there'd be free enterprise, and oh wow, there's another damage ability coming up. Wraiths have heat. Long term, that's not going to be that big of a deal, but when we're relatively low level, heat can do some damage.
Very true. And looks like Zen's party level. Ooh, flame armor. That's going to be useful. Also, around level 12-ish, at least on that one. Excuse me. And looks like Sho is making his way down to the main chest area. We'll probably see the warp trick.
Yeah, here we go. And Zen0bian has picked up those early levels, which is, makes everything a lot easier. ShoFukomachi does the warp trick as you predicted, picks up the adamant, so it's a fetch quest. We don't know how useful that is yet, and an ice shield.
Now here's a good question for you. Weirdo, would you, once picking that up, would you waste the charges, warp out, save, house up, and then immediately go back in?
So I don't terribly like warping out of Ice Cave. I think it always feels like it's a huge number of warps, and it's also easy for me to waste a warp on the 4-tile floor. But I would actually probably go down and through, rather than trying to warp back.
I know I'm in a mixed view on that one. I get your point, and obviously I'll be the one who will keep digging. But depending on levels and what the enemies are giving you, it's one of the things. It's hard to tell. So it looks like he's taking your advice, and found a decent grind tile at least for a few trolls.
Yeah, that one's okay, especially at these lower to mid level. It's not a not an upper level grind tile, one that you're going to take all the way to 20s or 30s on, but certainly it would get you 10, 12, 15 pretty quickly.
Very true. I mean, worst case, it's grindable, but not as good as you'd like. It looks like the Great Peds can't be run from. Also, I really didn't see anything insane on Zen's side in the armory, except for, heal helmet, flame armor. No one of them picked up the ice shield. I quickly didn't notice which. Probably someone on Shadow pointed us out on that one.
That was Sho, because it was in the chest to the right after he warped up. And
I mean, on a positive note, go ahead.
Nope, and just Sho clearing out all these chests, so we didn't see anything in the top set. We'll check out the 6-pack if the Frosties will let us.
There's the second heal helmet. Ooh, and ice armor too. So that's going to be nice for both runners on that one. I mean, having both heal helmets means you can actually stack 2 casts of heal 2, which is very useful and will also help save spell charges.
Yeah, or if you find, well, I guess loot wasn't that expensive, but if you find a piece of gear you need to buy, we saw pro rings in Caneria for about 9k, which isn't too bad, but or maybe we find some gold bracelets that are expensive, I wouldn't mind selling one of those off and just saying, well, I'm not going to use more than one.
Oh. Aegis Sealed pickup for Sho in the free chests in ice.
Yep, and looking at his battle tactics, right, he knows these mummies are dangerous, he does not want to deal with them, so he pulls out the big guns, gives them the nuke, and gets rid of him. And he's up to level 11, so he's not far behind Zen0bian in terms of his levels.
Yep. And let's see, nothing real exciting in the volcano so far. Looks like wizards have wall. That's really not going to matter that much. Ooh, Opal Shield too. And hey, the Zeus Gauntlet.
Yeah, Zeus Gauntlet especially, I mean, we're not high enough level and we don't have a super sword to just swing and do a lot of damage with those fighters so having those free lit 2 casts is a great thing to let your fighter be able to do.
Oh, and the irony on Zen's side. Sagama's in the Agama tiles. The irony.
And Sho is almost made it out of Ice Cave. Got caught by the damage poison mummies, didn't get turn order, and went down, loses his adamant, is going to have to go back in, but fortunately he knows where the goods are. He can skip those last few chests this time, I believe.
Ooh, and the other skin of the Agama's got rub.
Yeah, that is nasty. We don't have a lot of defense against that at this point. We can come back, but this is not exactly easy to get to. And Zen0bian putting those life charges to good use, bringing his team back up, and certainly expecting him to warp out after fighting this Red D. Although, that's not the Red D that he's going to fight.
Not that bad of a party on the trap tile. If I could quickly check the casts of Nuke, I could see him theoretically try and carry. I mean, it's not that bad of a play. It looks like he is going for carry. Looks like he is.
Yeah, he's got the levels. It's just a question of how much damage does he need to do to get through. And he doesn't have a huge amount in the way of gear from what I remember too.
As a positive note, he does have Quad X. though it looks like he might be out of charges of that one. Because I was going to say, could always keep fighting and then hope for the quad X after wasting all the nuke charges. But
Carey comes out swinging for 425, knocks Waz down right away, bringing out a third nuke for 186.
Dealing 2 hits, 2 damage.
Yeah, these fighters are not doing much damage. The Red Wizard doesn't have anything really to cast at this point, so it's did Zen0bian get close enough with those 3 nuke casts, or is this going to be a wipe and re-clear?
Looks like just a re-clear, as not waiting for the wipe.
Yeah, so knowing how dangerous that fiend is and knowing what treasure is worth getting, Zen0bian will make short work of this, headed back through. He'll pick up the 1 or 2 chests that he thinks are useful, but keep all those spell charges as he goes straight for Carey.
Yes, very, very true. Although it looks like Carey decided to wipe her nose with the party.
Yeah, well, she was punching for 500 damage on these red mages with low gear, or the thief too, I believe. And then the fighter only took 150, but the fighter doesn't have anything really powerful to swing yet. No good swords yet.
Very true. Very, very true. The Frosty's hitting for 210 on Show's side, and Wizards having cremate. Zen, what are you doing? I mean, I get what he's trying to do, it's just, I think he's more than likely going to go take out Carey, get the free warp out, save, and then maybe go back in for the treasure. Though I could... go ahead.
Well, there wasn't really anything in Volcano that was worth getting, so that's what he's banking on. He's already seen all these chests. He knows there's no loose item. So, and Cheesy and I are pointing out we should call him Zeno or Zen0bian rather than Zen. So we'll make sure we use the right moniker. So Thank you, Cheese, for pointing that out to us.
Yes, thank you very much, Cheese. I'm just shortening to it so that way I don't screw up the name. So ShoFukomachi.
Yep. And so here we have the Carey fight again. Again, the fighter and the thief not doing much, but we have this nuke charge is 116. Waz goes down again.
270 and change. So Zeno on the board at the 27-minute mark.
Yep, so our first orb is lit. As you said, 27 minutes in, that is a fire orb. No loose items, no progression, but saves us from having to come back a little bit later. So that makes it, I guess that means it's either adamant is our progression, or, well, that also means that Canal has to be in Marsh. Because I don't think we can have Canal not being in the inner continent.
I believe we can't on that one. I mean, unless Floater's there early, but I'd have to remember the logic of the seed.
Yeah, so Sho makes his way back through. He picks up his Adamant again and his Ice Shield. And so he'll go pick up, I think, that bottom 6-pack, and then maybe the Aegis Shield on his way up, and then head straight for the exit.
Most likely. And Teasonator putting out in chat that, yeah, the Canal always has to be in the inner sea in these flag sets.
Yeah, I thought that's what I remembered, but it's always good to have confirmation from one of our veterans, one of our strong runners, Cheesinator. So I'm sure he is eyeing this with interest. Without, I don't even know if he's played this week or not, but he was 3-0, I believe, through the first 3 weeks. So he is going to be in this pool with one of these two runners next week.
If I recall correctly, his match is later this week. And Season Later, you're in chat, you can probably answer that for us entirely.
And Zen0bian makes the common play to move over from Volcano to Ice Cave, especially if you have the canoe and no floater, you just head straight over. And it's the logical progression. We know that it's the wrong progression, but it still is the thing that most runners would do. And if someone took a bit of a risk, then had gone to Marsh, that would have paid off big.
I mean, this is the type of, spot where, you're rewarded for the gamble. If Adamant turns out to be floater, then you have probably skipped Marsh unless the loose items are there. But it's going to be close on that one. So picking back up the Aegis Shield, very useful. Zeno picking up the Ice Shield, which we know will be... Red Mages can equip Ice Shield, right?
Well, so Cyrenus, our restreamer tonight, telling us no, but also that fighter still needs a shield. You need to get that armor up on your lead character, who's going to take most of the damage anyway. So
also Opal Shield and Zeus Gauntlet. So not bad for the quick dive into ice, despite the wipes. Oh, you got another access to another item casting, spell casting item, and some decent, end game armor.
Yeah, well, if you have the Aegis Shield and you only have one fighter, we're gonna sell off that Opal Shield, but it's at least extra cash that you can pick up. And looks like I think I saw a blip on Sho's side where he got rewound back a little bit, but he is done with Ice Cave. He's got all the goods and is heading out, and we'll have to see, does he go for Adamant turn in or does he go to Volcano first?
And also someone putting out a chat that the Ninja can equip the actual Ice Shield, so that's going to be nice for because he'll have, a decent shield and a, decent shield for his party members, plus some good equipment.
Yep, so what we didn't have before these dives, we didn't have much in the way of armor. We had silver bracelets and we had a chain, and now we're upgraded to some of the better armor we can use before promotion, and we'll be able to shuffle that over, give the thief the hand-me-downs from the Big Brother fighter, and we've also got some gear that fighter will use at the end. Jump on in if you had something interesting.
Oh no, I had completely nothing to say on that one. I was letting you do that one. I was just going to point out Aegis Shield pickup of Zeno, but we already know that is present there, but they'll be picking up their Zeus Gauntlet and Ice Shield real soon. Actually, no, wait, they got the Ice Shield. Opal Shield. Sorry.
Yep, and Zen0bian is having a much easier time making it through ice. Partly levels and partly he's just killing the stuff before it gets to cast anything on him. He does resist some of the trance from these frost dragons, knocks his way through, and it is on his way again.
And Sho stopping by the shop in Corneria, probably buying some more heal pots, most likely going to go turn in that Adamant.
Yes, so Zen0bian is a full Volcano ahead, although Sho has made his way out across Canaria and is going to turn in that Adamant, and then the question for him is, does he go Marsh or does he come back to Volcano again?
More than likely. Oh, and looks like Sharks have... I couldn't tell if that was Stun Touch I think it might be stun touch.
It is trance.
Not trance, but ooh, it also stoned one of his characters.
Yep, trance
Redden.
and stone poison. So the sea is not where you want to be on this seed.
A good note for on show side is because of where he is located right now, more than likely we'll head to Marsh as the next location, namely due to how, close he is. Oh, that's even funnier.
Yep, we have some lazy dwarves, ladies and gentlemen. So couldn't be bothered to walk that TNT down to his buddy Narek, and we'll see that. And that is a giant dud. That is the Thor hammer.
Yep, so Marsh was the play.
Now, it's not a complete dud. Yes, it gives our white mage something that it gives us a casting item. We're still low enough level that'll be useful, especially when we get into the Sea Shrine and start taking on Wiz Hag packs that are unrunnable. But of the items you could find, that one's probably one of your lowest priorities.
As a positive note, though, that it will. Oh, and we get to see the credits. Giving
Bridge
us
boss.
a nice show. But the nicest thing will be that both of them will probably be headed straight to Marsh. After this, they'll realize that, that was the play. I mean, with the information known now, would you have gone Marsh first? I'm assuming
No,
Weirdo?
Never Marsh. With Warp, I think Cheesinator pointed this out earlier. It is got a lot of different enemies. So in the randomizer in particular, you're likely to roll something nasty, especially if you don't have a lot of fade or nuke charges, which can get past. So like the resistance of the mucks. But Warp makes it a lot easier to get out of some of those. And it just, that level 1 Warp and combined with a couple of levels does make that whole Marsh trip a little bit less dangerous.
I mean, I remember back in the day when Marsh was almost required every time. My, how the randomizer has improved this.
Is that before all the open progression and such?
Considering I played during the first tournament where we didn't even have the free bridge, yeah, that was before all the open progression. Although I do have to say, I am so glad that one of the tiles is actually named for me in extended open progression.
Yeah, that's an awesome that you are permanently a part of Final Fantasy Randomizer lore.
Well, so is Zardia and a few other people, but it's more just the whole fact of when you make a good contribution to the community loves you for it. So we've all got things. Hey, canal on the top of Marsh.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't an ice and it wasn't a volcano, we knew it had to be here somehow. We can go turn in that ruby, or we could go down to Marsh Bottom. And I think Marsh Bottom is indicated.
I'd say yes, 100%. You're here already. You don't want to make the dive again unless you have to with the key. But apart from that, you just warp out, save, go back in, check it all the way through, and then immediately get out of dodge and go drop off that ruby. Yeah,
I mean, it's only, 3 chests in the locked chests here in the bottom of Marsh, so not exactly a high likelihood that something you require is going to be here. And we have some nice sync from our runners. Picking up their mage stabs and a little bit of cash.
And now both of them are headed down to the bottom of Marsh.
Yeah, both running the same route, both taking on these werewolves, buzzwolves, whatever the right version is.
I remember the old joke about world record wolves. For those that remember that old school joke.
Oh, that's not one I had heard before, so I always got to learn something.
Yeah, it was used slightly on that one. Then you also have the Gur Wolves, which I think that meme is still alive every now and then.
Yeah, there's the fun names is one of the options in the randomizer. So
Oh, Bottom of Mars was needed. We have a bottle on Show's side.
not guaranteed needed, but still, that makes it very likely that this was required. Finding that loose bottle, that's the first loose item of this seed, and
Ooh, and an actual decent grind tile on the normal wizard trap tile. I mean, it's decent, but the Frost Wolves and Frost Giants, well, if you can handle it, it's a good grind, but oh, that's going to favor Zeno big time.
oh yeah, finding that katana is certainly a big pickup. That is the best sword in the game that the thief can use. Well, I'd say it it might be better than Masa for the thief because of the high crit rate, and that might help the thief a bit more, since the thief is more likely to have to rely on crits. But yeah, so we're headed back out. We don't know 100% that it's required. As Cheesynator was pointing out, we have Thor Hammer, but we still have the Power Gauntlet. We out there. We still have the Opal Bracelet. We still have Tail, for that matter. So any of those could be not required. For that matter, well, no, I was going to say it could be Floater, but it can't be Floater. So.
And Zen smartly parking his ship where he was by dwarves, using that canoe to save himself a bit of a walk. Show's going to have to walk back to Elfland before being able to go through the canal. But, ooh, stun locked by those red sea hags and the other sea hags.
Yeah, the Arsa hags with stop, which hits your entire party. So you gotta. We're worried about, and rub. Oh man, this is not sail the seven seas. This is get the heck out of the seas because they are dangerous.
I mean, if I recall correctly, Cure 2 and Fear in the White Magic Shop. Bane is at level 5. Sorry, it took me a minute to remember Belmont's spells on that one. But as a positive, at least they don't have Warmac Unchained and Warmac on the Seas.
But this is still, I mean, we haven't seen Gur Sharks, we haven't seen Lobsters who always manage to roll something, but we might have rolled a really nasty seed where these runners are going to struggle to get through Sea Shrine. So we'll see. What that also means we're really looking for stuff like ribbons are going to be critical, levels are going to be critical. I'm doing Sea Shrine last already, just from what little I've seen.
I hate to interrupt you. We found the key in the Titan's Drove, which is going to be an interesting play. Zeno, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, yeah, the key is going to be interesting. There's all those key lock locations. I was actually thinking, I'm surprised that Zen0bian took that route through the Titan's Cave. I think he could have saved a little time with the duck out the back and hit warp for the quick exit, but that's what we got.
Vanilla. Is this even randomized game?
Yeah, that Sarda having the rod, that means Earth Cave is completely open to us now, and we are, I mean, while we still have a number of items available to us, a lot of them are fetch quest items, and so we're not at the end. We still have, all we need is Chime.
Yeah, well, yes, basically the Chime, because you don't really need the floater, but they're probably still gonna look for the floater Although we know my bad. I was thought of something, forgot of something, so I'm just going to sit up for a minute. It looks like Zeno is going to go complete Earth Cave, or at least dive the first few chests.
Yeah, and we still need levels. We still need something to swing. We need a sword. So I think you're still clearing. Even if you find that loose item, you got to have something to work with. And Zen0bian is also checking the spike tiles as we walk through here, just trying to see what else is here, see what we can pick up.
And I do have to add that technically, if Zeno finds the tail, he has an actual endgame weapon in the katana.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, we need tail and floater to turn it in, but yeah, absolutely. So we do have one thing to swing. It's just not on the knight, but you can always have him tank and not swing.
And looks like we do have a route divergence. Zeno going through Earth while Sho sailing the seas. Where do you think he's gonna probably go?
That's a big question because this, he's doing key locked. That's what he's got to be doing. He's got to be looking for that second lose or a big item.
I think that's a big
the
item.
only reason to come this way.
Bane Sword! In the Cornelia locked, treasury.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Bane or Brack or any of the instant kill spells other than Quad X because they don't seem to work very well for me. But yeah, it's a decently powerful just as a sword, and then Bane is certainly up there in terms of usefulness and spells.
I know in the race I called yesterday, I got to see one of the sweetest things ever. Turn 1, first, you got the initiative, turn 1, first character, Bracken, Kraken, and then, was it Bracken and Tiamat? Yeah, I think it was Bracken and Tiamat on that one. No, it was Bracken. Basically, I got to see that happen twice, where one of the runners straight off the bat got to Brack, two of the fiends at the very beginning of the battle, not even having to see what the fiends had.
Yeah, that's nice. And there's...
Oh my god! Massa! There's your endgame weapon.
There's the big stick. So that's certainly going to be really helpful. That's a big pickup, and we'll see if Zen0bian actually makes it over there to pick that up. We did say that he doesn't absolutely need it, but you always want it. You want that option.
I mean, what? And yep, selling that katana, for a decent amount of money too, I might add.
Yeah, why not? You're never going to be able to use it. Zen0bian picking up another nice little piece, a pro ring, best hand armor for most of his characters, and you can argue whether it's the best for instead of the power bonk for a melee character, but that's more like it's less armor, but more utility.
I know. Which side do you fall on between the old Vorpal or Masamune argument? I'm personally in the camp of whatever gets it done.
I prefer Masamune, but then again, I when I run seeds, I run seeds where Vorpal isn't as required. So it's better when you need to crit. It's worse when you need to hit.
I mean, for the longest time, especially when you saw a lot more weapons fix off seeds, Vorpal had the advantage due to the high crit rates, but, with benefit of it, with weapons fixes on almost always now, it does, it really isn't as big of a difference.
Yeah, and there's certainly a number of different flags that we've chosen a certain set here for
Oh God.
for this tournament, and yeah, or if Falconic's still around, he's gonna have some words for us.
Oh no. The X-Cal pickup for show in the dwarves' actual treasury. So I guess you're gonna be rocking Massa and X-Cal with your party?
Yeah, anybody can use Massa, so you probably put that down on like the red mage. You mentioned earlier that the red mage can use saber, so that gives you a backup in case something falls apart later on.
Very true. And with that, show having both, a red mage that can swing the Massa and he finds the tail, and a knight that can swing the, X-Cal. He's got a pretty decent team. Also, he really needs to, that white mage can pick up the Ford Hammer, so he's actually got some decent, actual damage output that's not magic based.
Yeah, we were saying this is the big thing that they're missing, is something to swing, and now they have it. So now it's time to track down those last few items. Zen0bian is making this gamble on finding a loose item here in Earth. He is full clearing this dungeon, 100%. And
there's the ice sword, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a nice weapon, but not quite Masamune or X-Cal, and certainly not the incentive item that he really needs to find.
Very true. I know there's been a few times when I haven't found anything better, and I know a lot of us have either rocked that or the Sun Sword into Topher and have managed to finish with just that.
Yep, certainly one member of our community has stated more than once that he will run an ice sword into Topher instead of Vorpal, but I mean you're gonna find one of those bigger swords, I think, especially if you're trying to go faster through that portion.
And Zeno is at Lich. So let's see, Nuke strats, Nuke for 330. And let's see, 120 and change for Ice Sword, over 100 with that Mage Staff. Nuke again for 236, and Lich is down.
Yeah, not surprising, but Zen0bian jumps out to a 2-orb lead. But I'm not sure if that's in reality, like in terms of getting into and through Topher, if that's an actual lead.
I'd go with it's a lead for now, but Show has checked. Show is checking ordeals right now and has taken the time to check all the key locked locations. So I guess Show has more of the location lead.
Yeah, and that makes sense. It's something we see in several different randomizers, is that if you get a lead in one area by giving up a lead in the other area, and then we'll see if and when they converge at the end of the game, or a little bit sooner, which which one's choices have paid off.
And I have to say that was a lot of money in that one chest in ordeals. Like well over 14,000, I think.
Yeah, 14.7. So we're getting to where we can, buy a lot of things, but still, the only real thing that I'm worried about the price on at this point is probably the gold bracelet.
I'd say that, and if we're not, especially with Show being able to pick up some level 7 and 8 spells, I mean, I have seen someone literally life 2 rolling, level 8, and the fact that one of the runners went and got the one charge of level 8 life 2 actually helped win them the race because it was that important. And it basically allowed them to come back in a very bad Topher.
Yeah, and I was going back to think, but if there was one of those things, so It's interesting that both runners went to ordeals first at breaking the south, so Zen0bian following in Sho's footsteps, and we know that Sho got the crystal out of here, so we'll see if we go to Matoya, if we use that convenient river docking on the north side, or if we head over to Waterfall.
Trying to remember where the map, the mental picture of the world map, by Onrak, you'll probably see the waterfall play because you're in the area. Also,
Yeah,
they do have the Oxy Ale.
Yeah, so it is certainly possible, and these runners are both much better than I am, so it's very conceivable they don't fear this sea dive as much as I do, but just with the few things that we've seen that we know are in there that are gonna be would be a big deterrent for me. So chose to do Waterfall first. Of course, it's common to just route these two together since they're conveniently close, and we'll see what decision he makes after this.
More than likely, I'm calling it now, he'll go for the Sea Shrine and try to clear it out. Although both of our runners not having a ribbon yet, so that could affect things, because I know almost everybody likes to have at least one ribbon on their damage dealer before heading into Topher.
Yeah, there's just too many insta-kill spells, too many cracks and rubs and other things that even having the ribbon, they still sometimes hit you and it turns into a wipe, and that costs you 10 or 15 minutes. So it's worth a few minutes here and there of digging chests in order to get past it, I think.
Oh, and that is one of the worst tiles I've seen in a while. A bunch of imps and grimps.
Yeah, fortunately only the Grimps have that gaze with stun, so gets the fire 3 off, so an easy clear, and the robot gives us an herb, so still don't know if either of those checks were useful or not.
Oh,
until then.
That's huge. Dragon armor in there too.
Yeah, so we've got the best armor, shield, sword, helm. We're only really missing a ribbon, or two. Vorpal if you want that, but you've certainly got at least one endgame sword. Well, you've got 3 different endgame swords.
2 for Sho, 1 for Zeno. I don't know when Zeno will go back to check the key lock locations, but looks like Sho is opting to not go to the Sea Shrine just yet. With what they have, I'm assuming they'll go turn in the crystal and the herb and hopefully get the floater from those. And with looking at the tracker, the floater will have to be from one of them. Well, it doesn't have to be. Slab and Chime could be there. Chime letting them check Sky, with Sky having the floater.
Yeah. Right. We're still missing a crown, and you're right, and we still have that Sky incentive, so that does not require the floater to get into. And so we'll just slowly make our way back, and we'll probably turn in both of these. Since Sho certainly will, since he has decided to brave these shark-ridden seas.
And while our runners are basically sailing and running through the world respectively, don't forget to give our runners a follow. I'm sure someone can put the command in the chat for that one. I mean, they're putting on an amazing race for all of us here. Ooh.
And yeah, and absolutely. And we'll go ahead and shout out our tracker, Sunny, who has come in during this spring tournament and has been a tremendous help, tracking this race, keeping notes for us so that we can refer back to him and only, well, I'll speak for myself at least, only look a little bit like an idiot instead of like a bigger one.
I mean, commentating is hard, tracking is hard, but it's also very fun.
Yeah, it certainly makes a big difference. And then we also have our restreamer Cyrinus is around too, and so I know he's been active in the chat watching, but he's a big part of this. And then Randomania Network is, you know, where we're at today. They restream a lot of our races, so it's a pleasure to be here.
As always. As always.
So we get Herb Detail, and then we are sailing around. So I guess we're gonna hit the north side from Matoya. We still have that one extra fetch item that it could be in any place. And Zen0bian is headed through Sea Shrine and is headed down the Kraken side. So we'll see how many of these chests Zen0bian decides to check.
Now that is amusing. The crystal gave the crown, which in vanilla it's usually reversed on that one. With the crown in Mars giving you know, give it to Astos, which gives you the crystal.
Yeah, and Cheese Nazer calling it out. Yeah, this is about the worst possible turn-in setup. You're trying to save a lot of time by doing these turn-ins from the outside of that inner continent, and it would be so much faster if you'd gone to the inside of the continent and been sailing back and forth in that inner sea. So many fewer steps.
I do have to say though, we have yet to see what is in the Topher Lock's chest, and hey, another katana. No, sorry, a ribbon. That is a huge pickup for Zeno.
Yeah, that ribbon, and that is one of the chests on this floor that is easy to avoid if you want to go mode. We have a nice tile there, the 3 worms. If it looks like Zen0bian is not interested in taking them at all, if they can be very chunky, and when they're chunky, they're not fun to fight. But if they roll low, then they're one of the highest XP fights in the game.
And a pro cape in... Ooh, Vorpal as well. So we know where all 4 good swords are today. I don't know if this is what they call the Sharknado room or not, though.
Yes, this is the Sharknado room, so...
Oh! Crown the floater!
Crystal to crown to floater, so we could have been in the skies earlier, but we're not in Sea Trolls with Nuke! Oh man.
Yeah, the water floor in Topher is going to be brutal. Brutal.
So I think Cyrinus rolled this seed, but either way, this is a never see. Right, except you kind of have to.
Well, basically they'll never see that nuke coming.
Yeah. There's an ocean of good jokes in this world, but I see what you did.
I mean, this is going to be a very interesting play, because Zeno full clearing waterfall, no, not waterfall, Sea Shrine means that, you know, you'll have to probably do those turn-ins after this, and with how the overworld movement is, Sho with that floater can dramatically make up the orbs, you know, really quick with this.
Yeah, I think that Sea Shrine is going to be a grinder. We have this lobster sea snake pack is unrunnable, so that's not fun.
And of course, first thing Sho does is getting that fighter into a knight.
Yep, floater, you promote so you can get those spell charges as you level up, and I think Cheesinator's calling it for check the Cardia Isles and pick up it, look for that ribbon. The other thing I want to note is that in chat there were questions. So El Markin was asking about the crown. So chat had it correct. It was Crystal was in Ordeals, Crystal to crown to floater.
And it looks like Sho not opting to switch off that massa just yet.
And there's the Woad Sword.
Let's see what Carrie's got for Zeno today. Starting with some nukes. Let's see, one nuke for 334. Hit with that one. Ooh, Kraken rolled low on HP. I'm talking really low.
Yeah, that was about 500 hit points of damage, so Kraken won his paper. So you have a nasty time getting there, but if you can get through it, then it's not all that bad at the end.
And Seasonator, did you read the spoiler log or something? You're a warlock for this one.
Well, he missed some things in Marsh early, so that's how I know that El Markin's powers have not been passed on.
But
and if you're not sure, El Markin managed to call some things in chat during a race that were bizarre and came true, and we'll leave it at that.
Oh, and that's even better for a show. White shirt as well in the Zardia Islands. Oh my god. Show just hit go mode.
This is the Galaxy Brain play. This is everything you wanted and nothing you didn't, and that means Zen0bian is going to be spending an awful lot of time here checking TFC, and then hopefully getting up to the other table flipping chest up here.
So, I'm assuming, getting some spells, healing up, and I think Show's probably going to go immediately and complete the volcano since they're in the area.
It looks like he's picking up armor and spells first, especially after promotion, having the ability to learn everything now.
It's definitely picking up those fast and temper charges. And the Red Sea Hag and Sea Hag, which is always unrunnable at present, fight, having some stop.
Yep, and needing to use those spells to clear it out does manage to get it off, but this was, between the sharks and the Sahags, this was not a fun, and the sea trolls with Nuke, this was not a fun sea shrine.
Very true. Very, very true. So picking up all of their spells so that they can just immediately go and blaze through all those actual Fiend dungeons.
And yes, that was Invis 2 in the first slot at level 6. So, and Sho is, this is, he is taking a play from my book in shopping for red mages where you try to buy everything you want, and if it tells you no, then your red mage or your red wizard can't learn that slot.
Oh, that's even worse. The other ribbon was in the Sea Shrine as well. So it looks like Sho is probably going to be rocking one ribbon, while Zeno is rocking at least two, if not all three, if they decide to check the Cardia Islands.
Yeah, and that is a big advantage. So Zen0bian, while this is a time-consuming check, it certainly has has had some benefits for him, and then we'll see if he gets the other benefit. The other big item that we're looking for that we have not seen yet is the defense sword.
Which I do have to say, having that defense sword sometimes can save your life.
So Light Axe is close. It's item magic, but not the right one.
And nothing really that good from the mermaids. Now, if you're Zeno, I'm assuming he's probably going to start doing those fetch quests. So he's about a couple of fetch quests behind Sho.
Yep, and we'll see which one he does first, because that'll make a difference. So this looks like Elfland, I think. Yeah, I think he's going to dock on the southern side of Elfland. So he's going to do that outside, and we'll see if he heads to the Inner Sea or not for Matoya.
Oh, and the mummies also had Invis too. And I forgot, Sho was actually able to buy life too, so that is also a huge advantage to him.
Yep, yeah, that Fade and Life Tube were both white locked at level 3, so made that having that white mage along very useful. So Zen0bian here is picking up his tail, did dock on that southern dock, and we'll see. He does go back to check the key locked treasury.
So we'll be picking up their Massa, as well as... So essentially Zeno has 3 of the 4 legendary swords.
And ShoFukomachi is waiting for just a second and moves up right on through this rim.
Basically taking care of that speed bump, and the images with Blaze.
And that's a bit painful. 2 characters down, but that ribbon paying off big, as well as I believe he's, well, I'm trying to think. He's probably got the dragon armor on his knight, so he's got 2 characters that resisted that ice and took a lot less damage, where his characters without resist were taking 200.
Sho taking a wipe.
Yeah, so tried to just run through, ran into a second pack of eye mages and wipes due to that blaze and turn order, and has to start over in Earth Cave.
Although I'm surprised I have not seen either of them to take a power cycle. I mean, they could have, but it's been a while on that one, so...
Yeah, and encounter manipulation can be a very big deal. You can take encounters on a different floor. If you know they're coming, to give yourself a chance to hit a different pack. You can encounter manipulate around all these sharks in the ocean and not have to deal with, trance parties like Zen0bian is dealing with.
Very, very true. Zeno picking up their floater, so they will be in the air real shortly. With what is available, they will most likely be in go mode in about 3 minutes, you think?
I don't know. It could take quite a while, because the chime was a loose item in the you're calling them the Zardia Islands. I think our tracker was calling them the Charizard Islands.
The Charizardia?
Yep, there you go. Either way, it's one of those, like, if you decide to check them, you're gonna check them quickly. If you're gonna skip them, I mean, they're some scattered chests, and depends on how, and what you're thinking, and whether you're interested in going dungeon first or not.
Considering that they have cleared out every dungeon available, unless you think it's going to be in any of the key locked chests or behind the bottle, I think that... checking the bottle first. So this will probably lead to the slab, which will lead to our last... I'm trying to remember what the... Oh, it'll lead to the power bonk.
No, it could lead to the slab to the power bonk, or it could lead to the opal bracelet. We still have one more incentive location, then that is in Sky.
Oh yeah, that is correct. That is correct.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where the opal bracelet had been, so that's how I was able to get it.
And while we were looking at Zeno, Sho is basically just about to get to Lich.
Yep, made it through all the eye mages this time. And of course I had to say that. So I'm sorry for the comm curse, Sho.
And you were right about the bottle leading to slab.
I think you called that first. It's just the question of what does slab lead to, and Zen0bian, I think, is tracking that down because he's hoping that the slab is going to lead to the chime, and then power bonk will be in Sky. That would be, from his point of view, that would be the ideal item placement.
Very true. And Sho taking on Lich, over 300 with the first nuke, 100 on the second, which is a pretty low roll. Third nuke is 354, and Lich is down for Sho.
So Sho finally gets on the board with his first orb. However, he's got pretty much everything else taken care of. So he's just going around lighting orbs at this point. He's got his armor, he's got his weapons. Stopping in it for a little bit more shopping here in Crescent Lake.
Picking up wall, which is going to be very useful because he will most likely only have that one ribbon.
Yep. And he has one full ribbon, and he has one knight ribbon, or, second level tier ribbon between dragon armor and Aegis shield and a pro ring. He can be immune to what is that? 5 elements, and that will certainly help quite a deal.
Very true. And Sho opting to check Gaia for the level 7 white magic, and also seeing if there was any good armor there.
Only magic I can think of that he's looking for would be Cure 4, that I don't think we've seen.
That would put that at level 8, most likely. Actually, that's just most likely, but yes, it would be level 8. Did either of them check the magic shops in Onrak?
I don't think Sho has been into Onrak, and Zen0bian was unlikely to check those. He would only get one spell out of that with his red wizards. So if he did, I didn't see it.
So Cure 4 can be at level 7, which would really help benefit Sho, or it will be at level 8. I don't know about you, but I'm hoping for a really dangerous Topher.
So, a really interesting question by another one of our veterans in the community, Will Bloodworth. What are the chances Sho can survive a Topher dive like this? So, one ribbon, he's got his gear. He'll pick up a few more levels as he goes through Sky. But what else does he need?
I'd say probably a few other levels on that one, and the Opal Cheerio was at Lafayne.
Okay, great call, Sonny. So, bottle to slab to Cheerio. So, with the Cheerio, that means that Power Bonk is going to be in Sky, so they both can pick that up easily on the way through. Yeah, Sho does have one ribbon, the other two are in C, and they are a little bit out of the way. One is on the Sharknado floor off to the southwest, and then the other one is on the floor before Mermaids.
And looks like Sho opting to take a few grind fights here. Zeno,
Yeah.
of course, will be getting through here and opting to pick up that white cert. I was wondering if he noticed that or not.
Yeah, and I can certainly understand Sho's play here. He finds a tile he doesn't mind grinding on. That's easy enough for him to take down with all the item magic he's picked up, so he knows he needs some levels, and that's all he needs to get through. Really, what I'm thinking about for what he needs is he needs some of these levels, and then he needs, and both our runners need good luck getting through the seafloor.
Yep, and Sho, after getting a few levels, is now on their way to carry, so that will be a quick fight on that one. I think Sho just went to get the last, the hit at what, I think level 24?
And yeah, and as we come back together, Sho, pulled back a little bit on Zen0bian's 3-orb lead, but not pulled back quite enough, so it does look like he's going to be a little bit behind going into the Temple of Fiends Revisited. We'll see how these runners do in their last prep. Sho hits level 19, and while Zen0bian is climbing the Mirage Tower.
Yep, and opting to take another fight here, going for a bit more experience on these. Getting through all that, 4 hits with the Masa. He's right now at level 20 on that one on his Knight. Most likely he will grind to level 24 and then go from there.
Okay, and we're almost up. Oh, well, fortunately it's only 2 ghosts. Ghosts are one of the enemies I really dislike, but Zen0bian is entering one of my favorite parts of the game. Sky, 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 and he's gonna go mode Sky 1, but runs into one of the high XP tiles, or high XP encounters, excuse me, not a spike tile.
It's cool on that one. Yes, getting rid of these metal slimes. He'll probably stop and pick up 2 chests along the way. The incentive chest, and I think there's another chest in that room. Or is it 2? Either way, he'll clear out that room, pick up his power bonk, and be off to Tiamat.
Yeah, well, he's level 22, so I wouldn't mind picking up a couple more levels here, whether it's running through the Sky 2 floor. It's like, yes, there's a couple of nice pieces of gear that he could pick up, but he doesn't even stop for Power Bonk. He goes straight up, and he's skipping all of the chests on Sky 3, so he must feel very behind and feels he needs to push all the way through.
Very true. Considering how long it took him to get the floater, I do not fault him for feeling behind. And Sho popping in to see about trying to find some more defense. I think weren't the golds in Corneria?
Pro rings were in Canaria. But I'm not sure which one Sho is looking for.
Pro rings, that'll do. Also, chat, start getting your blessed RNGs in it. As Zeno is approaching the Bridge of Destiny.
Yep, we need to see our Lord and Savior, the robot chicken himself, ED-209, Warmac. Fast and Temper were slots 3 and 4 of level 6.
I think Zeno just realized, hey, I might want to go get that actual incentive item. And pitching the Zeus Gauntlet for it, too.
Oh, that's reasonable, especially like going into Temple of Fiends. You really become locked in on having all this good gear that you want all your characters to wear, and you just don't have the slots to carry all these extra things.
I mean, I can just imagine, like, the whole, like, trying to actually carry the stuff on your back and just, like, barely able to move at all. Yep, there's the power bonk. And remembering to equip it.
Yep, picking up that 6 absorb, I believe. So, Demon Frog pointing out that it's in the wrong spot. If you have item magic, you typically want to put those in your first or slot so that they're easy to menu to. That bottom right slot is going to be the hardest one to menu to. So it's just seconds at a time that or even fractions of a second. But every time you lose it, it adds up over the course of a lot of fights.
And as I said, get your blessed RNGs in chat, because Zeno has taken his first few steps on the Bridge of Destiny.
Yep. Finds a fighter, while ShoFukomachi has headed into the Mirage Tower, so he is going to do Sky first and then Sea last. I think that'll really benefit him in terms of getting through the sharks, the red sahags, the sea trolls with nuke, just being able to resist those, having the health to live through things.
And that is a very slimy bridge.
It's like they're throwing themselves at you, Zen0bian. Don't you want our experience? Are you too good for your levels? Okay, he will accept a fighter's worth of experience. Well, maybe.
And we're at Team at 1, attacking, nuke. First nuke comes out, we have 173 damage. 3 hits from Tiamat, couldn't see the damage. 153 from one of the fighter, the ninja. Fighter deals 4 hits, 302 damage. Is throwing out another nuke. Not one fighter, 4 hits, 330 damage. 5 hits. Was that over 1,000 or just 100 and change?
That was 115, I think, but certainly that was over 1,000 damage total, if I caught everything correctly. But yeah, Zen0bian just going straight damage strats makes sense on TO1, and knocks her out, has 4 orbs lit, and is on his way to the Temple of Fiends Revisited to go 2,000 years in the past and break the time loop.
And also looked like Sho also skipping the power bonk. As you're about an hour, 28 minutes in, took you a while for the floater as well. You're probably feeling behind, so I can completely understand that.
Yeah, it's a big risk, though. It's a really big risk. It's Power Bonk, although it's less of a risk for Sho than it would have been for Zen0bian. Zen0bian knows that he doesn't have access to all of the tools to buff up his melee, while Sho does with having that Black Mage. So he has some Temper Cast. It's not as nice as having the Power Gauntlet, but he has some things to fill in those gaps. And as ShoFukomachi is fighting a little bit more defensively, is taking the round to buff up, casts a fast, uses a white shirt for some invis, now brings out the nuke and the fade on Tiamat, and another nuke, 282. Fighter comes out swinging 8 hits for 491 critical hits and terminates Tiamat, lighting up his third orb.
Yeah, I would try speaking almost as fast as as far as Wokweosis to go through all that, but I can't talk that fast. I can talk a lot, but not that fast.
Well, it's just takes practice, I guess. And I don't think either of us would consider ourselves on the level of the Illuminati. Zen0bian has, meanwhile, made his way into the Temple of Fiends Revisited. He is in the past. He's running away for some gas dragons. Finds the Naga and Water tile as the Spike tile.
And let's see, level 7, Harm 3, and I forgot the other name.
Anti-mute.
The counter to Silence. Yeah, basically, Cure 4 as at level 8. And
Yep.
so now that I notice, Sho does not have his slab, so he did not know whether or not that would be the Opal Cheerio or the Power Bonk.
Yep, he did not turn in his bottle when he went through Gaia. And now he runs into the Sea Trolls with Nuke, takes a reset, and we'll see how he goes through this.
Definitely. That was not a good start. Started out with basically Nuke, kill your red mage, Nuke, kill your white mage. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that is an instant reset. But Zeno won basically almost at the Lich 2 fight.
Yeah, is making quick work of the Temple of Fiends Revisited so far. On to our glorified speed bump. This is the one that bounces you around a little bit, but you still don't slow down for.
And to answer the question from Will Butler in chat, I don't think either runner have reset the table in a while. I know that Zeno was doing it earlier when they were grinding some, but I don't think either of them have reset in a while.
Okay, Lich 2, not much more difficult than Lich 1, goes down. And we're on to the fire floor of the Temple of Fiends. Finding the 3 Agama fight and running away from it. And those Agamas are, tricksy beasts. They hunted us down and caught us and turned into red dragons. But we're still running.
And I'd say if there was an Agama grind, getting the Agama facts out, but...
Now we have that thief in the lead, taking us through, and this is what he's here for, to give us those first chances, those runs, and run away from all these encounters, taking us down to carry 2, which will let the fighter take the lead on and go in for the fight.
First Nuke couldn't see because of the brightness that Nuke couldn't see. Carry 2 having stun, 5 hits, 180 damage. I think that was 180. And actually, Sho checking Sharknado, so picking up their Vorpal.
Yeah, Zen0bian making light work of carry 2 and has a huge run here on the sea floor so far. Does take a slight misstep.
Big.
Wow, that is a clean run so far. We'll see if those extra 2 steps are going to cost him with an extra encounter at the end of this floor. But that is big.
Let's see, Nuke 1, 169 damage. First swing, 204. Third swing, 52. 344 from the second nuke, 7 hits.
For only 67 damage from Kraken. So Kraken is not swinging hard, but brings out Crack.
Takes down the fighter. Sorry, takes down the ninja. It's got a meat shield. 180 damage. 166 damage. Wow, Kraken rolled beefy today. 120 damage. The ink comes out for nothing. We hit 66 damage. Nuke again. 174 damage, and Kraken 2 is down.
Yep, we used a bunch of nuke charges there, but we made it through, only losing the ninja to a Crack. Kraken not being very punch happy or not punching very strongly today, so and here we'll go a couple more steps and makes it through the seafloor. So
And-
no encounters on the entire floor.
And nuke hitting shows red mage and black mage down, but they are almost at Kraken. Almost at Kraken 1.
Yeah, and the white mage survived with that ribbon and is able to bring the party back up to health, so we'll go around as Zen0bian prepares to pull Tiamat 2.
Let's see. Starting off with power bonk, nuke, double nukes on that one. While Zeno is focused in on Tia 2, Sho has pulled Kraken 1. Power bonk.
Yeah, we have a double Fiend cast. We get Blizzard from Tia 1 while Kraken 1 goes down. He was paper that we found out earlier, and Sho just runs right through him.
Yep. Let's see. A heal through Eve from Zeno's side. 4 hits, 284 damage. Lock on that one. Power bonking up. 3 hits for a lot. See double nukes
Yeah.
again. Nuke 110 damage, and Tia 2 is down.
Yep, so Tiamat 2 punching a little harder than Kraken, but didn't bring anything Zen0bian couldn't handle. Did spend a little bit more of his efforts buffing up for that fight, but heads on down as ShoFukomachi enters the Temple of Fiends Revisited. 1 hour, 35 minutes, 48 seconds, so 6-7 minutes behind. But that 6 or 7 minutes is almost Zen0bian's whole run through. So that's a lightning fast Temple of Fiends.
Basically about one Topher, Zeno is about one Topher ahead. Going for the nuke, going for the power bonk, going for the white shirt, attacking with that one.
Yeah, I'm a big
32
fan of
damage,
the early swing where you get to see sort of what Chaos has in terms of defenses, what you need. Chaos only returns fire with a lit 2, not something you're terribly worried to see.
3 hits, 134 damage, heal 3 comes out. From Wise, Chaos misses. That white shirt putting in a lot of work. Another power bonk. Another cast of white, aka Invis 2. Ice 2. Not much damage on that one. Tia 2 is more spell happy. A couple of critical hits from that one, but only for 248 damage. Some more ruse. Another white shirt.
Well, yeah, that ninja at this point is basically just a punching bag, and any damage he does is just gravy.
Also,
Chaos comes out with a rub, but does not go through.
3 hits for 144 damage. It's looking like Chaos rolled decent absorb. Another
And
lock
very
2.
high evade. The fighter only had 2 hits even after all these lock 2s. Missed there completely.
81 damage on that one. Let's go nuke and nuclear. And cure 4.
Only 2 hits for 288, 3 hits for 110. Yeah, Zen0bian with this lock 2 strats, these are, they haven't made the difference yet, but they are essential if we're going to get through this chaos.
I'm personally hoping Chaos has cure 4, some nukes, some nuclear. We've only seen all of his spells yet, so we have no clue what his actual skills list includes. Heal 3.
Yep, all we've seen is like lit 2 and rub and more lit 2, so.
And also, Carry 2 is down on Show's side, although down to Light Warriors.
Well, so Lich 2 took out a couple of Light Warriors.
Also,
but, so we're,
Zeno has
Zen0bian.
finished.
And Zen0bian finishes with an official FFR bot time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 19 seconds. So, and we'll see if our winner here is interested in an interview. And meanwhile, we'll keep an eye on ShoFukomachi as he heads down. So, Mages, if you could take care of Show's calls for a second.
Sure thing, sure thing. Show on his way to Kraken 2. Sorry. Carry 2 gets into a pack of vagabonds, is trying to run away, manages to get away. Just pulls Kraken 2. Sorry, Carry 2. Starts with some white shirt. Goes for some Lock 2. White shirt. Making it a lot easier to dodge. Lock 2 on at Carry 2 from his red mage. Swings, 5 hits, 260 damage. 5 hits for like 15. Another Lock 2. Going for another white 2. Choosing Quad X, hopefully, on the black mage. But Carry's having none of it, takes it out. Another swing with the Masa.
Okay, and as ShoFukomachi makes his way through Carry 2, we have our winner tonight, Zen0bian, in the booth. Zen0bian, GG's.
Yes,
Hello,
GG.
thank you. That was a heck of a full clear seed.
Very, very
Yeah,
true.
we noticed that. Did you enjoy finding those loose items? Were they hidden well enough for you?
They were pretty well hidden. I'm gonna say I'm real glad I took a thief, because I did a whole lot of running.
And I have to ask you, what do you think of the seafood party platter?
I've never been so scared of sea trolls in my life. I'm really glad there was a hero run on the water floor out of Power Cycle, or that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, so your Temple of Fiends Revisited came in under 10 minutes, and did you actually plan that hero? Did you know where that hero run was going to be on that floor, or were you sweating it going
God
down?
no, that was completely luck.
Okay.
Because each
so-
floor of Temple of Fiends has a different encounter rate, so there's no way I could have mapped that out without some serious, like, sitting down and thinking for, like, 10 minutes. Temple of Fiends is complicated.
Okay, fair enough. You're a much better runner than I am, so I wouldn't have put it past you. But it certainly, I was worried that one extra step before the door was going to cost you an encounter too. And
Did everyone enjoy my realizing I skipped the power gauntlet and then warping back 3 floors? Because I did.
I mean, you were the only one to grab the power gauntlet, because Sho did not turn in his slab and did not get his Opal Cheerio. However, he is rocking a black mage, so he does have access to temper and fast.
Oh yeah, I saw that they were both black locked, and I was like, alright, power bonk mandatory now. Gotta find it.
Yep, absolutely. And that was one of the. We were kind of wondering why you skipped Power Bonk your first way through, but I'm very happy to see when you warped back and picked it up.
I think something tilted me halfway up. I don't remember what it was.
And sorry to interrupt you both, but Sho has just pulled Kraken 2, has used White Shirt, gotten hit for like 137 fast on the Knight. See another cast of White Shirt. Is going for Bane strats. Does he get it? Nope. Ineffective. White 2. Your wife going out on the party. Using that Zeus Gauntlet for 42 damage. Swings with the Knight for 8 hits, 200 damage. Ooh. Kraken does have crack. Another cast of the White Shirt. 7 hits for 400 and change damage. Another White Shirt. So another attack on that one. Thor's Hammer. 4 hits, 95 damage. White Shirt again.
Yeah, and it looks like Crack took out 2 of Sho's party, both his red mage and his black mage, where it only took out 1 for Zen0bian earlier. we're buffing up with the white shirt and we're swinging with that fighter, just taking down a chunk of damage at a time, and I guess hoping we don't get a bad spell again.
But Zeno, while we got you here, what would you say was the hardest part in that seed?
Just getting nuke charges to get going, really. It was a slow start. The early sweepers were okay, but you're not comfortable going into Volcano or Ice with just Fire and Ice 3. But finding those peds off the power reset gave me a jump start, got me going. And the only real setback was dying to Carrie once. She was not nice. That happened to me in my last week's race, too. Carrie just has it out for me.
Very true. And show pulling is Tier 2 fight. Opting to start with some fast on that night. We hit like 6 damage fast, going with those lock 2 strats. Tia having Blizzard. Goes with white shirt coming out. Trying to decide what to do, goes for nuke for the red maids, some wall on his white maids, a ice 2 for the black maids, ice 2 on Carrie, Tia, 37 damage, 27. Ooh.
Oh, and Tiamat with nuclear takes out both the white mage and the black mage. Red Wizard's down to 1 knee, but the fighter is still going strong and hitting strong too, and she's got Cure 4. So yeah, that Quad X was not going to do any work at that point.
Zeno,
And we are,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we are down to man mode with Show the fighter getting the tornado from Tiamat, and he's just going at it with Masamune goes down.
Ouch.
So,
Zeno, after hearing how bad Tia 2 is, what do you think of... Are you glad that you basically got to avoid a lot of that?
Yeah, when Fiends can potentially low this roll health, my strategy is throw nukes at them and kill them before they kill you. And if that doesn't work, well, it's worked every time so far. So I'm going to keep doing it till it doesn't work.
And I don't have the actual race chat up, but
ShoFukomachi has forfeited out of the race with that wipe, and will be coming in for an interview in just a minute.
Any
Okay.
last questions for me before I get out of the way and let you guys get Show in here?
unless you want to stick around and talk to show it yourself.
Well, I do have one last one. It is, did you ever consider wanting to encounter Manip across the sea between the red Sahags and the sharks? It seemed like it was not a sea that was easy to sail.
Eventually I started doing it just on the sea. On the land, there was no worthwhile encounter manip, so I just stopped doing it because I'm lazy. But eventually I started doing it on the ocean once I had 40
A sea that
cannons
was
or something.
easy to
It
sail.
was yeah.
Eventually,
The
I
seas were
started
treacherous
doing it
today. Just on the sea. On the land, there was no worthwhile.
Okay, well, thank you,
encounter.
Zen0bian, and GG's to Show as you make your way in.
GG's.
GG's, so GG's.
Wow, what didn't have something?
Everything had everything, and it was awful.
It was
Thank you guys for
terrible.
putting this on. I'm gonna get out of here so you can interview Show. I don't want him to yell at me.
It's...
But
All right, well, take care, Zen0bian, and GG's again. So, Show, tell us what you think. You went Ice Cave first, which turned out to be the right play with Adamant leading you back.
Well, Adamant led to what did Adamant lead to? That led to TNT, which led to the Thor hammer, right?
Right.
Yes.
But it at least pointed you back to Marsh rather than going over to Full Clear Volcano.
Yeah. Well, I figured, lots of things are in Marsh, so I may as well go back to Marsh first before I went back to Volcano. But I mean, Ice Cave was pretty brutal, but everything apparently was very brutal. Things with Blaze and Tornado and Sea Trolls with Nuke, and I just didn't get lucky on the RNG today, that's for sure.
Yep, and plenty of things with trance and stone poison and
Yeah, and Agamas with Death Touch, and it was
oh, I
just
didn't even see that part.
yeah,
Neither
that
did
was
I.
it was yeah, that was really neat, you know. And then Tiamat 2 having Cure 4 and not being able to get off a whole bunch of invis charges. So I mean, I in Topher, 23 isn't terrible. I don't think it's underleveled, but it was definitely a lot trickier with, I mean, just with so many things with such harsh spells with Blaze and Nuke and all that other good stuff. And Team at 2 hit hard and then had high defense and then couldn't get off
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, I think the one big difference we saw, and if you watch it back, you'll see is the heading through the water floor. You caught all the encounters where Zen0bian came in off a power cycle and just managed to get lucky, and there he actually made it through the water floor with only fighting Kraken 2. Did not fight anything else.
Oh, that must be nice. Yeah, with all the encounters I
Yeah,
had with the sea trolls, I'm like, well, they're probably going to cast Nuke, so I better cast it first.
right. And it's like, okay, how many charges of life do you have? I mean, you
Yeah.
have 3 characters that can cast it, but is that enough?
And it ended up being, I mean, even getting into Tiamat 2, I only had 1 left on the Red Mage, 1 or 2 left on the Knight, and then I had the 4 or 5 with Life 2 on the White Mage, but didn't matter. Tiamat 2 decided to be not very nice today.
Do you want to know where
Yep.
the other 2 ribbons were?
Obviously, someplace I completely orphaned.
Sea Shrine. Sea Shrine. One on the way to Kraken 1 and one just before the Mermaid, the floor before them.
Oh.
Yeah, so but the one on the way to Kraken was the Sharknado 4, but it was one of the like way off on the west side chests. So neither of them were easy to get to.
I mean, I did have Dragon and Aegis pro ring, so it was nice to have the white shirt, but oh well. And healing magic wasn't great. I mean, heal 3 at level 1 was good, but cure 3 at level 7, and I'm assuming cure 4 was level 8.
It was.
Yeah, it must have been that. That's our assumption too, although neither of you checked it.
So
Yeah, so and I mean Zen0bian made it through some of those encounters just a little bit faster, going a little bit more aggressively, and that saved him from seeing things that were further down the encounter or further down the skill line.
yeah, the RNG definitely did not play in my favor, especially while I was going through Ice Cave. I mean, just like, okay, I get it, but oh well.
Yeah.
When the game
And
says no, the game says no.
It sure did, and it said no today. So, but GG's to Zen0bian, and thank you, Randomizer, for hosting us. Phew.
I was going to say you're now that's your first loss in this tournament. You're now 3-1, so you're still in really good shape. You're still, it. You are officially, not eliminated from the brackets, even no matter how you play. Um, so, but I mean, 3-1 is a fantastic record. So you got to be feeling pretty good about your overall performance so far.
Yeah, I mean, and none of my opponents have been easy. I mean, I had Asher and I had Dang last week, and Black Knight was my first opponent. So, and Black Knight's getting a lot better. So, like, no one is easy, and I'm already afraid of like who's in the 3-1 section. So, but hopefully, I can pull off maybe a couple more wins and avoid having to play in the play-in race.
I mean, it's a bloodbath, and I think even then, I think you're guaranteed at least into the last chance qualifier with the 3 wins.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens from here on out. But I look forward to the rest of the tournament. Should be fun.
All right. Well, GG's show, and then we'll go ahead and start wrapping up here. I think. So any final thoughts for us?
Chaos is it Chaos Flags next 2 weeks, or is it just
It
next
is.
week?
It is
okay.
random next week, and then chaos the
Oh.
last week of the tournament.
Okay. Well, hopefully, we'll get another Fire Flags next week, and it'll be fast. But looking forward to Chaos Week. That was the one we did for the GDQ hotfix which is a lot of fun, which I did with Danny. So looking forward to that and some longer races. That one was an hour 55 for me, I think. So, but again, looking forward to the rest of the tournament, and good luck to everyone still racing.
All right, thank you, sir. And then Magius.
I was personally just about to pull up the schedule to see if there were any other matches tonight. So give me one second. That one.
We have the Randomania schedule on the screen here, where there is a Legend of Zelda randomizer. There's a random percent tournament going on, so there are 2 different matches there. There is the finals of the Zelda randomizer Battle Royale. So this has been going on for a couple of months, and it is down to Fred Coughlin, the originator of the Zelda 1 randomizer, and Shaddy. So both fantastic players, and the people that have been eliminated in this tournament are amazing players. I know we have a ton of races tomorrow, especially I think we have 5 races all going on at 9 o'clock Final Fantasy randomizer time. And do we have anything else this evening?
Yes, we do. According to the schedule, we've got Jay Coper, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his opponent, on one of the speed gaming channels that just started about 20 minutes ago. And then we have one at 11 p.m. tonight, which is JLo7 versus Ragnarok. And that'll be on Speed Gaming 3.
Yep, one of the original playtesters versus the gambler himself. So that'll be a great match if you're up for it. And that 11 o'clock is Eastern Daylight Savings Time, which is official Final Fantasy randomizer scheduling times. So I've got our runners here in chat. It's Kau Spalu, who is the other runner. So we have our runners here in chat. I know Sho is known for his shenanigans. So plenty of those late night races with an interesting set of flags. Zen0bian does a lot of randomizers, and it has been a big part of the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide project that has just started something.
I know I still want to check that one out, but I've been busy with a lot of things.
All right, and then we always want to thank Randomania for hosting us, as well as the others that have helped put on this broadcast today. We have Cyrinus, our restreamer. We have Sunny, our tracker, who gives us enough information to so that we make all the mistakes, but at least there's not nearly as many of them. And then Magius, thank you for doing this broadcast with me. I know you're one of the longtime veterans in this community, so it's been great talking to you and learning some of this older stuff from you too.
Hey, I do what I can. I mean, I've been playing this since the very first tournament, and I still am surprised about how much the level of competition has changed from that one to the current tournament, and just how well all of our runners have gotten.
Okay, well that's all I have to say here as MG Weirdo, and Magius, I'll let you close us out.
Night. Have fun. Go check out some of the other races. Check out the Discord if you're interested in learning more about the game. Definitely try out. We have even a vanilla-less flag set, so if you've never even played the game at all, check it out that way. And I guess good night. And until next time.